everybody, and welcome to Blood Bowl. I am Complacent Badger.
And here with Master Moose.
Yeah, that's trying on some new shoes today, seeing if Master Moose got what it takes for commentary. Mostly because Sierra Kilo is busy, and I just wanted to get this video out. So, looking at a team value difference of a little over 600, wasn't it?
It looked like 570 or so, just under 600, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, I didn't say it before, but it's Snarltoof Smashas versus Re-AWOOOOken. So we'll see how this game goes. So, what do you think of the Snarltoof Smashers so far this season?
They have been very back and forth with their play style. Some games they're just right on point. Other games I'm looking at them just trying to figure out what they were thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm feeling the same way. And what are you feeling about Re-AWOOOOken?
I haven't seen this last game, this one actually right now that we're watching, but from what I saw in the post, they've really come into their own, and I'm looking forward to seeing this. I want to see how they change their style and really just start playing better in general.
Yeah. So a little bit of an odd setup, putting those flesh golems out, trying to stay away from that strength 5, but then putting himself down against that black orc. Looks like Re-AWOOOOken picked up a wizard and used it immediately on a black orc. Probably
no effect.
Yeah, probably a fireball on black orcs is not going to be that beneficial. We do have a KO right off the bat for the Snarltoof Smashers, and then a stun, so it looks like the Smashers are going to start smashing as they do best.
And that is the snowball effect that them and the Crazy Eights, you really need to watch that. They're both notorious for it, and it's hard to stop once it gets going. Turn 2, it's an uphill fight from that point.
Mm-hmm. Frenzy pushing and applies a block.
I'm not sure what that was. That a pickup in a 3 tackle zone?
I believe that was he dodged into 3 tackle zones. They'd attempted to pick up. I think the dodge failed, and the ball started bouncing, ended up right where it was because of the KO.
Picked it up on a 6, but it was just a bad spot.
Mm. So a lot of green presence on the ball, and looks like he's setting up Moglop downfield.
Making sure to have that receiver, as you've been harping.
Looks like the Master Steps went off as well. There was at least 1, if not 2. Failed pickup. That must have been just a bad roll. I didn't actually see the roll.
Yeah, as long as it's there, you just need to try and fight to it. I've been seeing it a lot. These just YOLO, let's see if I can get a 6 on this pickup or this catch or something to get the ball moving, and then it gets into a bad spot, and Re-AWOOOOken's losing their drive.
Yeah. Jazz Choir, brand new orc thrower, has the ball now set up behind a good line of black orcs and then a couple blitzers and a lineman. That movement allowance, but that go for it failing on Snake Eyes. Sometimes that just happens.
It had no effect on it, but he was adjacent to that black orc with that frenzy.
Mm-hmm.
There was no reason not to go in diagonally.
Yep, and that's another thing you gotta look at. Granted, as you're saying, it didn't show up because he never got to throw his block, but at least go for the 1 die, not the 2 die, his choice.
Unless one of those flesh golems had guard. No, that wouldn't have worked because it was next to the black orc. So yeah, like you're saying, it was just not beneficial in any way.
So Snarltoof Smash is playing really good Blood Bowl right there. Got a little lucky that kickoff landing on the line right there, so he had a presence on it. Really slowed down Re-AWOOOOken very fast, and Snarltoof Smash said, ooh. So putting himself down immediately with that zombie is going to really set him back on this turn.
Second drive in a row. You got to work on, like you were saying in the beginning of the season, you've kind of gotten away from that though, but the turn order.
Yep.
Getting the free moves, getting the assists in place, and then starting that cascade.
And if you're not going to pick up the ball, at least get guys to cover the ball.
Yeah, exactly. It's deep enough that it's not a threat, but it's still just good habits to get people there. Because when you do go up against the elves, they're going to be back there holding it.
Turn 5 and Re-AWOOOken already down to no rerolls, and then with that, going for that pickup right off the bat, that's scary.
It is.
And going for the pass with a -1 without rerolls. Clearing that, and it looks like we have potentially a free werewolf. It's gonna be a tough route, but
with that, he did the tackle to take the guy off of the receiver. Why not do that first? There's no interception, and then there's no penalty on the catch.
Yep. It worked out, I guess, setting up a partial cage. This lineman right here is showing a little bit of a route to him, but most likely not getting an assist. So, but that's the werewolf without block, so this is going to be a tough one.
With the setup that you had, the available resources, I mean, that's as good as you're going to get is that little partial cage.
And then doing that really strong blitz with that flesh golem on that lineman protects that werewolf. They can go around the other angle, and I think Gorefat can do a good job getting over there.
I think you'd be hard-pressed. It's going to cause multiple dodges, maybe even some go-for-its.
He already took his movement as well. So Black Orc and the other blitzer, Tucknail, are going to mark.
So what are you thinking right here? Dodge into a blitz straight down the lane?
Yeah, maybe if you can pull an assist, but it doesn't look like anybody's available. You might be able to, the white, but that's not the place to get the assist.
Exactly.
If you could, is that a guy? Yeah, if you stand up this white and you put this white over here, you could have gotten a 2-die with the werewolf, but either through error or not seeing it, did not do that.
Unless that Black Orc has guard.
Blitzing with, he does not.
Okay.
But,
there it goes.
Taking him out, -1 modifier on the dodge, and then going straight up the lane. 2 go-for-its to get in a couple extra spaces, and then tags him with the werewolf. So, not ideal, but it works.
Now, these wolves are agility 3, correct?
Yes, werewolves are agility 3, movement allowance 8, strength 3, and armor value 7 with frenzy and claw. Oh, sorry, armor value 8. And they have regen. Werewolves are werewolves are amazing.
On the page they were talking about using those werewolves as running backs, and as you saw, I mean it's effective.
Yeah,
they're fast, agility 3,
and they're tough.
Strength 3 with the frenzy.
Yeah, they make really strong running backs, similar to the Orc Blitzers being the ball carriers on their team. Ooh, pitch invasion.
And heavily favored to the Orcs.
Yep, Necromantic suffering pretty severe on that one, but luckily there's only 2 turns, so it doesn't look like Necromantic are going to suffer too terribly. This might actually keep them from suffering injuries.
Do the Orcs, do the Orcs even have the movement? Obviously now they don't, but
no.
Would they have had the movement to even get down there in 2 turns?
With Moglop being, if he was on the line, which I don't know if he was, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that puts him right on that beer, right next to that beer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, could even do it without without using all the go-for-its. Use 1 go-for-it in the first turn, and then on the second turn, ooh, badly hurt.
There goes a white. That's part of his main cage line holding up. Losing that block is going to be difficult for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have pressured that ball.
And again, that's something you've been harping is those turn 8 risks. If there's no risk of a touchdown, don't give your opponent free hits.
Yeah, just get away. Especially if it's teams like the Smashas. It's in their name what they do. So setting up for the second half has been pretty interesting so far. 1-1 we're looking at, and Smash is getting the ball on the opening drive.
Now that wolf on the left is just asking to get pushed out.
Yeah, especially this. I think that's the one you're talking about because he just has no support. Somebody could just put him over there, but maybe it's a ploy for him to fail a dodge roll. Ooh, right into the hands.
Wow.
And happened to get a blitz action, but put everybody on the line, so didn't get to take advantage of it. Got the blitz kickoff event.
Yeah.
That is very unfortunate. Yeah, especially if you're not going first, do not put everybody on the line. This is a bunch of free hits that the Snarltoof Smashas get on you now. This is the worst setup that you can have for kickoff. Yeah.
Now that black orc to the left can blitz into that wolf and shove him straight off the field. He didn't see it.
Yeah, the blitzer can go for it. He hasn't used his blitz yet, so we'll see.
He'd have to dodge to do it, otherwise it's going to be just a push down the sideline.
Oh, this one already. That's one already moved. Disregard. Yeah, you're right. But this one does have dodge.
Oh.
So really bad initial
wow.
lineup, but leaving that gaping hole in your cage and a 1-die. Wow, getting lucky on that 1-die.
I wouldn't even call that a gaping hole. He had to run down the sideline through multiple tackle zones, come around the edge into a 1-die, like.
Yeah, but considering, I mean, I don't know if they had the movement allowance for Jazz Choir, but I would have put him on the other side just because that was the one side that was looking weak because that werewolf with block was there. The ghoul isn't going to do as much as that werewolf.
For sure.
So ball
gets bouncing through 5 people.
Yeah, and advantageous for Necromantic. Quickly.
Oh, that block.
Yeah, quickly turning around with these black orcs. Oof, KOs. Necromantic just getting tossed right now and just playing a strength game that they can't compete in. Zombie mark, good play.
Or kept him off those orcs, though.
Yeah, no reason to mark adjacent. It just puts him down very easily. But it doesn't matter. He picks up balls at a -1. And a good handoff.
Oh, wow.
And taking those 2 go for it. Fuck it, why not? So, kind of scared to do those go for it's with him.
Given how last time he fell on his face.
I mean, I guess there was no risk of moving him up, but if you weren't going to put him adjacent, I guess if that was a good push, but it's still, he doesn't do anything.
No. If you were going to line him up on the sideline next to him, that'd be different. But from there, it doesn't affect the dodge away at all.
Yeah, you not putting him down has actually, not changed anything, so that was a free touchdown.
There it goes.
And he did it, and that's one of those things that I talk about, that sometimes doing, a -1 or, something with a little bit riskier of a roll, if it's going to open up something like that, is worthwhile, especially if the defense can't get the right avenues of hit on them. I'm sure if we went back and looked at it, we could find a way to make that a much more difficult dodge out, but unfortunately the Snarltoof Smashers weren't able to do that, so good play by the Necromantic.
It would have taken 2 go-for-its for that guy to continue down and stand on the sideline.
Oh!
And then, wow, there it goes again, and again, heavily orc.
A worse pitch invasion than the first one. Only 1 orc player suffering.
And there goes a dead. Good regen.
No, did he get the regen on that one?
He stood up and ran off.
Oh, excellent. I see him now. Zombie. Kind of living for another day. Oh! Probably.
Oh, wow.
I guess he didn't really have any other players to do free moves, so I can't really get mad at that. He had that guy. That was also a guy he could have done something with. So this looks like an inevitable touchdown unless Necromantic could do something ridiculous. 5 movement now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He can blitz him, but that's a tough blitz. Yeah,
lots of dodges without any dodge. Agility 3 though. And there it goes. He opened it up for him.
Oh. But the 2-die was just 2-die. His choice was too tough. So
it looked like
it was an attacker down, defender down. But that was.
I was gonna make a joke that Mass Rack misclicked.
Because that's what he does. So yeah, that was a pitch invasion touchdown. Not really much else to say about that.
Luckily, the last one was when it was. Otherwise, that'd be 2 back-to-back free touchdowns off of just a pitch invasion. Again, that fame coming into play.
Yep. So huge scoring game, 2-2 right now. And we still have turns. So now the Snarltoof Smash is lining up on the line. After seeing what just happened, he wants them. Not that good.
I like seeing those flesh golems on the side. playing the strong flank, even though it looks like it's symmetrical. He's going to be rushing that side. It's going to be tough to get through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the flesh golems are amazing players that'll have okay, just going, I guess. See if this works. This is going to be a tough one.
I can't see it working.
That was not a bad. I mean, that was a 3+ dodge. It wasn't that terrible. So, I guess take it. But man, where's Moglop? Is Moglop not available? Guess he's not. Did he leave him off pitch? Maybe. Ooh.
Is he the one that just stood up on the right sideline?
No. Oof. KO. Oh, there's Moglop. He's playing with the flesh golem. So, apply to push, but the strip ball, was it strip ball? Yeah, it was strip ball, drop the ball, and adjacent to the black orc, so that was a good play, good eyes for his name, Masrak. Masrak able to see his players and know who to hit them with. It's a block character, so getting that strip ball in helps. Opts to go for a pass with a -2 modifier and drops the ball.
Yeah, a free touchdown right there.
Yeah, that was. I don't know if I would have gone for that pass. That was an easy fumble. I think he was just trying to get it out of there.
So 3-2. It looks like we're going into the last one turn. Have we had any other 3-2s? I want to say I had one against Sierra Kilo.
I believe if this is not the highest scoring game, it's tied for the highest scoring game.
Yeah.
And it looks like that's it, because I don't think Necromantic have the movement allowance to get a score in one turn. So I think we've done the math behind it, that unless you do something ridiculous, it's only gutter runners that have the ability, and they have to be skilled up to do it.
Unless the Wood Elf catchers get a +2 movement, because they come with sprint.
Yep.
But the chances of that are very low.
Jazz Choir showing that he's an excellent passer by dropping the ball immediately. So that's a pretty big upset.
Yeah, for sure.
So for Necromantic, it worked because some of the 2 dies against you, in fact almost all of the 2 dies against you when you were doing those like really aggressive moves, they resulted in pushes. Do not rely on that. That's not. I mean, it worked this time, so you know a win's a win. 3 touchdowns is a lot of star player points, but if you're gonna keep playing that way, get ready for those werewolves to get smeared across the pitch.
That's true. Seeing these werewolves as the running backs instead of the ghouls, I like the potential there. Frenzy with the claw, they're going to be able to open up their own holes as long as you can support it correctly. That 8 movement, they were just sprinting all over the place.
Yeah.
And it was very effective. But as you saw with that strip ball, Masrak got the ball. Mm-hmm. And should have been able to keep it. It should have been a 2-2 tie easily, given the rest of the game up to that point. But just that bad pass, and then he was able to take advantage of it and get that touchdown to seal the win. But it probably shouldn't have happened that way. Yeah. And like we were saying, when that werewolf sprinted through, it just wasn't good planning.
Yeah, and for the passes out there, just in case anybody's curious, because I think the passing game doesn't get looked at a lot, when you're rolling to pass, if you roll a 1 or your modifiers bring you to a 1, that's a fumbled pass. Unless you have special skills, you will drop the ball. So, for instance, he had a -2 modifier. Unless he was doing a quick pass, so I didn't see where he was passing to, he had a -2. That means if he had rolled a 3 or less, which is a 50% chance of putting the ball on the ground. So just be aware that passing the ball sometimes can be very risky in a bad situation like that was.
Mm-hmm. And another thing to look at with that is, like you're saying, the modifiers bringing it down to a 1 is what causes the fumble. But as long as you're not using multiple penalties, the downside then becomes that scatter pass, which at least gets it downfield.
Yeah, the scatter pass,
So,
in most situations, I don't consider it a terrible thing, because for at least the purposes that he was going for, it got it out of there.
yeah, exactly.
Um, for the Snarltoof Smashes, there was a lot of like kind of crazy moves that you got set up for. So I can't really blame you too much for those scores that were scored on you. The only thing that I can get you is that you weren't playing safeties like you were supposed to. You were playing everybody on the line, which if somebody does a crazy move like that, you have no defense to it. So all teams need to be running at least one safety, especially if they have horns. You can survive with one safety, but you really need to be running two safeties at all times. It's for safety. That's why they're called that. And it keeps that from happening. And also, when you go to stop somebody from getting a touchdown, ensure that you're putting players around them, at least one, and then going for them. But make sure that the angle that you're putting them makes the dodge out more difficult. Don't give them open routes to just get the +1 and no negatives. You got anything for smashes?
For the smashes, I mean, like when we started, he's demonstrated that he knows the game and he can play it. He's demonstrated that he forgets everything going into a match. This one, he seemed to play well, except for some just crucial flaws. And it might just slight oversights that the other team was able to take advantage of. Only glaring thing is that just full lineup on the line. I don't know the point of that one.
Yeah, especially if you are the kicking team. Now, I think Re-AWOOOken was the only ones that were no, actually, they both did it as the kicking team.
They both did it back to back.
Don't ever do that as a kicking team because, and this goes back to my philosophy that in Blood Bowl you should always be the receiver. On that initial flip, always pick receiver. Not because you want the ball first, but you want the chance to hit them or not be hit first. And there are different schools of thought, I believe, but for me personally, if I can get that ball first so that I can hit you or not be hit, that makes my game a whole lot different.
Now look at those 8 boo-boos, as you call them, versus the 0.
Yeah.
And still coming out with a win. Interesting thing I just noticed, Snarltoof sustained an interception. Is that what happened there at the end? Was it a fumble or was it an intercept?
You know what? It might have been an intercept from that zombie.
And the thing with an intercept is it rolls prior to the throw. So if that intercept rolls the 6, you don't even get a chance to fumble the ball, scatter launch, anything. You don't roll a pass. You give it to that player.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense than it was a fumble because I was like, man, that was a really weird bounce that it went into his hands like that. But
yeah.
No, that makes a lot more sense that it was a zombie and then the zombie just handed it off to the werewolf, or I think it was a ghoul that scored that last one. But yeah, just handed it off.
Even still, the modifiers, what we said, it still applies. It was a poor attempt and it ended badly.
At least just dodge away, then throw it.
Exactly.
I mean, it wasn't that difficult to get out of there, and if you didn't, then just hold on to it. That makes them have to do more stuff. But otherwise, either way, how it had dropped, it was a pretty good game. There was a lot to talk about, and a high-scoring game. Good match rating. You got anything?
For the Re-AWOOOken, I really liked the aggressive dodges. Not afraid to use that agility 3. Aggressive werewolves, 1-die tackles. Wouldn't suggest it too much, but it was good that it worked out for you. Aside from the full lineup on the line that we already touched on, keep using those flesh golems on that strong flank like that, because you started out with them in the middle, and then you kind of developed that modified line, and it looked good. It looked like there was some good potential there.
Yeah, it especially makes the flesh golems more useful if they're not lined up against 4s and 5s. If they're lining up on the flanks for 3s. But 2015, year of the Agility 3, it continues to be so, and we will see you later. Bye.
Adios.